Hi, it's Ms. Mitchell and
Mr. Leatherwood.
And we are going to be talking about fractions and decimals this week.
Again.
It never goes away.
No,
they are
ma'am.
haunting us.
Yes, they are.
We're going to learn how to take a fraction and turn it into a decimal and a decimal into a fraction. Sounds like a great time, doesn't it? All right, we're going to start with 3/10.
Okay.
3/10.
As a fraction, I guess.
In a fraction form.
Okay.
Yes. Now, if I were going to ask you to shade 3/10 in that decimal, or excuse me, in that grid, what would you do?
Well, this is a hundreds grid because I know it's 10 by 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there are 10 rows would make 100.
Okay.
So this right here would be 1/10.
Excellent. I agree with you.
So 3/10, I'd go all the way over. And I could color in 1, 2, 3/10.
Okay, if I asked you to prove that that was 3/10, how would you prove that? If you've got 3/10 shaded, how many tenths should you have left?
Okay. Here, I'll use a different color. So if I have 3/10 shaded, that means that this over here, all these tenths are not shaded.
Excellent.
So, and those add up to 7/10.
Okay.
So I could write, this is 7/10 over here.
Okay. Now, when we were working with decimals,
Yeah.
just this last week,
Mm-hmm.
we were working with the 100 grids as models for decimals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're used to a 100 grid representing 100.
Yes.
But when it comes to decimals, what does 100 grid represent?
The hundredths place? No? No?
One whole grid would represent what?
One whole.
One whole.
I got it.
Good.
There we go.
All right. So if this grid is one whole, then as a decimal, how many did you shade?
The decimal? 3 parts out of my whole. So 3/10 of my whole? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. What do the individual squares represent? If the whole thing is one whole, what does an individual square represent?
100th?
100th.
Okay.
So how many hundredths did you shade?
Well, let's 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 by 10. So I did 30 hundredths.
Okay, 30
Is
hundredths.
that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Will you write that down for me?
In fraction or decimal?
In decimal form.
Okay, so 30 hundredths. 30 hundredths.
Now we also learned that 0 at the end. Do we need that?
No?
No? Could you get rid of that?
Yeah.
Okay. If you got rid of it,
Uh-huh.
go ahead and exit out for me.
Okay.
Or erase it.
I could erase it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would that number read that you have now?
3/10.
Will you write that in word form?
That's the 10th, sure. 3 tenths. Tenths.
And how would you write the word form of the fraction?
3 tenths.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
3/10.
3/10.
3/10.
Huh.
3/10.
3/10.
Huh.
Interesting.
What do you think about that? What do you think that might mean?
Well, that they're equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also nice just because when I read 3/10, I can almost just write the decimal 3/10.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
You want to try another one?
Yeah, I want to try another one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's erase what we've got here. Right here, let's see. Where's my little... Okay. Yay!
Ooh, one
Look
big
at that.
swipe.
That's right. Okay, can I get tricky on us?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we had 3/10 before. What if we have something like this?
Ooh,
Kind of tricky.
you did get tricky real quick.
Real quick. Is that too quick? You think no? Maybe a little too quick.
No, I think it's perfect.
Okay.
All right, so here's what I know. Just a minute ago, we took a fraction that had tenths, and we were able to make it into a decimal very easily because they sounded the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed the relationship between 5 and 10 is that I could create an equivalent fraction
Okay.
and say that 3/5, and if I multiply 5 times 2, that'll give me 10.
Okay.
So let's try that. I'm thinking here. I'm
Okay.
really thinking.
So you did times 2
And then whatever I do to the the bottom, I have to do to the
to the top.
top.
We learned this a while back, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 3/5 is equivalent to 6/10.
Yes, so
Okay.
now 6/10.
Now I can color that in.
Yes.
Because I could go all the way over to here. Do. So that would color in 6/10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which I know is the same thing as 60/100ths.
Yeah.
But if I want to write 6/10 in decimal form, now it's super easy.
Yeah. Because
If you have an empty place value chart, so I have no holes, so I can go ahead and say that. And then I know that this spot is the tenths.
Tenths, yeah.
And so then how many tenths do I have?
6.
6. And then I don't need any of that.
Well, there you
6
go.
tenths. Said the same.
Piece of cake.
Easy.
So it's important then to make the denominator a 10.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as the fifths place.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It could be a 10 or it could be
100.
100.
'Cause we got a hundreds grid.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could get itty bitty and have a thousandths grid.
Yeah, we could be crazy and
Yeah.
do that.
So the denominator either needs to be, let's write this out, maybe that's important. So the denominator either needs to be a 10, a 100,
Or 1,000.
or for us this year, 1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Denominators need to be 10, 100, 1,000. I got it.
And then you just write the same decimal as the fraction you hear.
Cool.
Same name, same value.
Same name, same value. I like it.
I do too.
All right. All right, so what we did fractions to decimals. Well, what are we going to do if we have to do decimals to fractions? We went fractions, decimals. Now we need to do decimals to fractions.
Well, let's just jump right in there and try one.
Okay. So we'll start off with, how about that?
Okay.
7/10.
7/10.
7/10.
So I'm going to shade it.
Okay.
Then I know I'm going to shade, since there's 10 rods in the hundreds grid, I'm going to shade 10 rods. 7 rods.
I'm going to go crazy. Can I shade sideways like this?
Absolutely.
Are they still tenths?
They are still tenths.
Good. Okay, so there's my 7/10. Okay, looks familiar. Looks like what we did just a second ago.
And then since 7 out of 10 rods are shaded, then I can write the fraction 7 out of 10.
Well, that's pretty easy.
And of course, they're both said 7/10.
7/10. All right. Well, here, let's get trickier then. If that was easy. Let's do... How about that one?
35 hundredths.
Yeah.
Well, I have 3 tenths because there's a 3 in the tenths place, so I can go ahead and shade 3 rods.
Okay.
And then I have 5 hundredths, and I know that each individual box represents a hundredth, so I can go shade 5 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
And I know that there's a total of 100 squares,
Yeah.
so 35 out of 100 are shaded.
35 out of 100 are shaded. That is so easy.
I know.
It's almost like you just read it and rewrite it.
It is like that.
Huh. I like it.
Yay.
All right. Want to give them a one to try on their own, maybe?
Let's do it.
Okay. How about... I'll give them 2. How about This as a decimal, 16 hundredths, and maybe that is a fraction?
Yeah. Sounds good. Do they need to draw a model with it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
That seems fair.
All right.
And you can always Google hundredths grid and print little hundredths grids out. It's really easy.
Yeah, that way it's accurate and
Yeah.
nice and neat if you need to.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.